Besides the obvious death of the baby, abortion's greatest impact is felt on women, the mother of these babies. Today, my guests will explore the devastating impact abortion has on our nation's women who deserve better. And we'll hear about critical legislation designed to protect them and their babies. It's eye-opening content, so stay with us. Charmaine Yost is the president and CEO of Americans United for Life, the legal architects of the pro-life movement. They've been involved in every life-related case before the U.S. Supreme Court since Roe v. Wade. Charmaine and AUL's legal strategists work to save the lives of the unborn as well as protect women from the many emotional and physical ramifications of abortion.
There's very serious psychological consequences for women coming out of abortion. The suicide rate for post-abortive women is much higher than the general population, and that's something that's important to talk about. Is I think a lot of women go into abortion, they're told it's not going to be a big deal, that they'll feel a sense of relief, and maybe many women do feel a sense of relief, but then it's followed later on by a sense of what have I done. So the fact that some women suffer from depression and increased alcoholism and other different kinds of ways of dealing with emotional trauma really highlights the fact that abortion isn't just any old surgical procedure.
What kind of physical complications from surgical abortion, or chemical for that matter, have you seen inflicted upon women?
The consequences and the complications of chemical abortion are actually sometimes much more significant than surgical abortion. Chemical abortion is being sold in our culture today as, hey, pop a pill, and it's just the easier, simpler, more private route of abortion. And yet what women find is that there's a much higher rate of hemorrhaging and very significant bleeding situations, and they're told, hey, just go to the emergency room and tell them that you've had a miscarriage. That's very, very dangerous for women.
Allison Huckabee was only 19 years old when she became pregnant for the third time. Already the mother of 2 children and living in an abusive marriage, her doctor recommended Allison have an abortion. He told her there could be risks and complications due to the abuse she had suffered. After being persuaded by her husband and mother, Allison had a late-term saline abortion. What she didn't know was she had been carrying twin boys. The abortion was physically and emotionally painful, and Allison was unprepared for the ramifications she'd face in the following years. Afterward, did you instantly regret the abortion?
I did. I was really angry for a long time and very depressed. And then to have to go back to that abusive situation was even, another challenge within itself, and still having 2 children at home. I had a lot going on emotionally and mentally, and I really had no one there to help me or help me understand any of the things that I was experiencing at all.
So you were left on your own emotionally and physically. Were there any physical complications?
Down the road, I started having, as I had more children later on, I started having medical issues, a lot of bleeding. As years went on, I had my last daughter wound up having to have a full hysterectomy. And my doctor started looking back at my history, and she pointed to, it's because of the abortion and the type of abortion that you had has caused you to have to lose, your uterus. And then from there I had a lump in my breast, which the doctor pointed back to the same. And they gave me percentages on, women who have abortions have a higher risk of hysterectomies, have a higher risk of some type of lumps in their breast, and so forth and so.
How did you cope with the pain?
I didn't. I pushed it down. A while up to now. And the challenge with that was that a certain time of the year, between October and November, never knew I would get so depressed to the point where I could not get out of bed sometimes. And it was because that was the time, around the time that I had my abortion. But I covered it up so, I could function and go through life, but for me, it was not. I wasn't really living.
Coming up, we'll learn about Allison's journey toward healing. Angela Anderson of Cincinnati, Ohio, is 37 years old and the mother of 5 children. At 19, she was already the mother of a 6-month-old baby girl when she became pregnant for the second time. Angela was terrified. She already had to forego college for her first daughter and feared she wouldn't be forgiven by her family for getting pregnant a second time. Angela's fear and shame led her to choose abortion. Angela kept the secret from her friends and family, but she could never forget her choice to abort her baby. Did you instantly regret your decision?
I was extremely regretful and already beginning to feel grief. Grief. I guess from the very beginning, it was an emotional roller coaster. There was a lot of denial that took place immediately. There would be things that would immediately punch me in my gut or just slap me across my face to remind me of what I had done. And instead of dealing with those in a healthy way, I would often turn to self-destructive behaviors, especially in the first, probably the first year or two. Drinking, if I felt like I couldn't handle it. Sometimes I would be very aggressive, you could say. My anger was very much in control of me, and I grew up a very passive, kind person, and I would be very aggressive and very defensive. I couldn't understand how I could still be a nice person. I couldn't understand how I could still be a person who could love the daughter that I have, knowing what I did to my second child.
As the years went by, were there certain things that would trigger memories about the abortion?
Oh, absolutely. So during the abortion, the thing that really stayed within me the most were the sounds that were involved in the abortion. So I could not go to a dentist because of the suction sound with the dentist. Shop vacs were out of the question for a long time. Whenever I would see a billboard for pregnancy centers, or I would still receive the Right to Life newsletter, and they have that little tiny picture of that torn apart child. I couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle it.
Angela's road to healing began by sharing her story years later, first with her sibling, then with her new husband, and finally with her oldest daughter, who always struggled with being an only child. After receiving words of support and encouragement, Angela knew she needed to continue her journey toward healing. She reached out to the Eve Center, an organization in Cincinnati of Christian women committed to providing emotional and spiritual healing for women.
I had to go through their heart program, which is the 12-week recovery program. It's a group study, and it's amazing. It is truly an amazing process, and every woman is just compassionate and kind. You know you're safe. You're in a safe place. You think you're going to go in and you're just going to talk about your abortion experience, but that's not how it works, right? Because we chose an abortion for a reason, which is from your past experiences. So you go back and you pull out all of that terrible stuff, and it's this whole complete picture. And then you walk through your abortion experiences, but you don't stay there, right? Then you have to go into your life now. So it's not just looking at the mess of your abortion experience, it's looking at the mess of your whole life. But the Eve Center is a safe place to do that. That program was the program that broke all those remaining chains because I needed Jesus Christ to come and do it. I could not do it on my own.
Allison Huckabee sought out the Eve Center as a resource for a young pregnant girl whom she was helping. After meeting with Executive Director Cindy Roy, Allison felt called to volunteer with the organization to help women receive support and encouragement. Cindy informed Allison that before she could volunteer, she'd need to complete the heart program and work on healing her own past abortion wounds.
I think my first couple of weeks at heart, I didn't say a word because I was so angry. Like, I cannot believe that you would make me come here and sit. I still could not identify myself with these women and identify with the fact that, yes, you've had an abortion and you're hurt.
What made the dam burst?
I think it might have been like on the 4th week, we had to do homework on something specific. I couldn't even get through the homework. I was in a fetal position. The pain was that bad. There were times that I couldn't even talk in class. I couldn't share anything. I was just filled up with emotion.
How did you feel afterward?
I felt very light. I felt relief. I felt released.
What do you credit that turnaround to?
Christ. He used Cindy as a vessel to say, hey, she's a knucklehead and she needs help. She needs healing. She doesn't even realize it. And as much as I loved wanting to help women, I couldn't help somebody if I was broken. As the years have progressed, I'm able to function within it and keep moving. It's knowing that, yes, this thing happened to me, but I'm healed by the blood of the Lamb. And because of that, I can keep moving forward and I can help other women.
When we return, we'll hear thoughts about the recently released Planned Parenthood videos and the abortion industry's concern for women. After seeking and receiving healing from the emotional and physical ramifications of abortion, Allison Huckabee and Angela Anderson chose to volunteer with the Eve Center. They found many women are unaware and ill-prepared for the various physical and emotional consequences of abortion. Do you think the average woman understands going into an abortion decision what the possible ramifications can be?
I would tell you 1,000% no. They do not. Because the lie has been set up already. The lie is that it's just a mass, it's not a human being. Or you'll be okay. You can go through life. Yeah, you can go through life, but you're not going to be okay. It is life-changing.
I did not understand the consequences that my abortion would have on me for the rest of my life.
Do you think women have a right to know?
Absolutely, I do. I think they have a right to know. I would have needed to know this before I got pregnant. Because once I got pregnant that second time and that shell came around me because I was so terrified and so shameful and so already degrading myself for the choice that I made, I don't know if I would have even heard what anybody would have been trying to say to me. Right? So as soon as they're old enough to discuss what abortion is, they need to understand the full side effects of what abortion does.
In the summer of 2015, the Center for Medical Progress began releasing a series of undercover videos showcasing Planned Parenthood selling baby body parts. Penny Nance is the CEO and president of Concerned Women for America, the nation's largest public policy women's organization. While Penny admits the videos have been difficult to watch, she believes they've given the pro-life movement the fire needed to unite and show the world how the abortion giant treats women and their unborn babies.
$30 to $100. That's the price of a little baby heart, liver, lung, brain. That's the price that Planned Parenthood figured out or has been able to profit from the remains of an unborn baby. They've been hiding behind a veneer of respectability that is fake. They have pretended to do mammograms for women that they don't do. The little bit of health services they do is just a ploy to get them in the door so that eventually they can do their abortion, which is what they really profit from. They're about big abortion. And we have been propping them up. The federal taxpayer in some states have been propping them up to the tune of $500 million per year. These videos really pull off the mask and show the ugliness behind this fake perception that they exist as a safe place for vulnerable women. Planned Parenthood has been exploiting women for decades.
Angela, do you think the abortion industry is pro-woman?
No, I don't think they're pro-woman. I think that they refuse to acknowledge the short-term and long-term damage that an abortion does to a woman.
I hear them say, well, it empowers a woman, but it does not. It really takes her power away. Because if she knows the truth, then she has time to think about other options.
I firmly believe that part of the calling for the pro-life movement is to be there in advocating and helping women to understand that abortion harms women, that we are on their side in this. This is the abortion industry preying on women who are in difficult situation.
Under the leadership of Charmaine Yost, Americans United for Life has been at the forefront of pro-life legislation. They're pursuing a unique mother-child strategy that protects them from abuses by the abortion industry.
Well, another thing that has really been emphasized through the videos is the fact that women don't always know what's happening when they're not given fully informed consent. And I think that's deeply, deeply troubling. Really focusing on informed consent is a way to ensure that women are getting information. It's a way to help them know about abortion's harms to women. If we require the doctor to tell them about the increased suicide rate before they make their decision, these kinds of things are all important and can have a really deep and lasting long-term effect in changing our culture.
Do you think that this incremental approach to legislation is having an effect right now on the number of abortions?
Well, we're seeing the long-term trend of abortion turn downward. This is a long-term strategy, and the abortion industry is really scared of the increasing regulations. For example, we saw this in Texas. We passed an omnibus pro-life law that had multiple different components to it. One of them was increased clinic regulations. Instead of complying with regulations that would protect the health of women and the safety of babies, they shut down. So we can have a long-term impact and make a tremendous difference by focusing on legislation that moves the ball down the field.
In a moment, we'll hear advice for women coping with the ramifications of abortion. The effects of abortion are wide and far-reaching, impacting not just the baby, but the mother, father, grandparents, siblings, the list goes on. It's our responsibility to inform women of this tragic aftermath, and we must continue to push for legislation that'll protect women and their babies from the devastation of abortion.
I think when you're talking to a woman who is in the midst of making the abortion decision, it's important to ask a lot of questions. She's grappling with exterior problems. She maybe doesn't feel support from the father of her baby. She maybe feels pressured. These are all issues that we need to address with women when they're looking at an abortion decision. And by helping them to understand that abortion itself is a further damage in the situation that she's confronting.
What would you say to women who are still struggling with the emotional or physical ramifications of abortion and just haven't gotten to the end yet?
There are a lot of women out there who are first blindsided by the effect of abortion in their life. But there is help available, and there are groups out there that are really wonderful for helping to work through the grief that both women and men feel after abortion.
When women finally understand what they did was not right, something maybe in their lives, they matured, they had other children, they had experiences that confirmed that what they did was the wrong choice. It's scary to get out of that pain, fear, denial, and shame because you have to acknowledge it. And if you acknowledge it, it's real. And if it's real, you killed your baby. And if you killed your baby, who are you? So you're stuck because you don't want to open it up and look at it because it is nasty and messy. She needs to know she's not alone. That is why we need more post-abortive women who said, I struggled. Like, it wasn't this cakewalk. I totally struggled, but I made it through. Here, you can make it through too. We're not going to guilt you. We're going to walk you through light and hope and get you to the other side.
There are women who are ready and equipped and able to love you and help you get through your process, who will understand everything that you've gone through. We're not here to judge you. Our responsibility is to help you once you've made that decision. There's a whole lot of living to do at the end of the tunnel.
Charmaine, do you think we're actually going to be able to end legal abortion someday?
Brad, that is my deepest hope, and that's our mission, is to move toward that day where every person is welcomed in life and protected in law. That's what Americans United for Life has been committed to for over 40 years now. The thing that I'm most offended by from the abortion industry is their continued emphasis on the idea that somehow abortion is about female empowerment. You know, what a tragic irony that the abortion industry that holds itself out, you know, feminism as being about women in power, they're the ones who come to a woman at her most weak and vulnerable time and say, we don't believe in you. We don't think you can cope with this. I believe that the real message of women in power is that we will come to a day where women facing a difficult pregnancy will say, I can do this. That's how we end abortion, is moving into a place where being a mother and embracing motherhood is seen as the most powerful part of being a woman.
We know abortion for the human tragedy that it really is. The body count so far is over 57 million babies killed. That's equal to the entire population of the states of California and New York combined. For most women, abortion is like a cancer. It maims or kills everyone in its wake. That's why it's so important we end this modern-day holocaust of abortion. Thanks for watching. For more resources about the emotional and physical consequences of abortion, visit our website at facinglife.tv. While there, find out how you can order a copy of this powerful episode on DVD and Blu-ray to share with others.